The unhinged where nothing is hidden. We talking so get in. The unhinged where nothing is hidden. We talking so get in.
Listen.
Mary, blah, blah.
Show.
Mary, blah, blah.
Show.
The unhinged where nothing is hidden. We talking so get in.
Listen.
The unhinged where nothing is hidden. We talking so get in.
Listen.
Mary, blah, blah.
Show.
Mary, blah, blah.
Show.
Welcome to The Unhinged, a Mary Bly show. Trigger warning, as today's topic is about pregnancy and infant loss. American College of Obstetrician and Gynecologists say that miscarriage is the most common form of pregnancy loss. A miscarriage occurs when there is a spontaneous loss of the embryo or fetus during the first 20 weeks of pregnancy. And studies indicate that roughly 1 in 4 pregnancies end in miscarriage, with the majority occurring during the first trimester. I'm your host, Mary Bly, and I am 1 in 4. Today we have a very special guest. Hazel Flint Jones is a mother of 2 amazing boys, one who is 21 and the other, her angel, who was stillborn at 21 weeks. In memory of her son, she started an organization called Mattie's Memory in October of 2012 to provide support for local area hospitals. Mattie's Memory has spread nationwide with some international interest as well. Hazel is a trained bereavement doula and midwife and has helped local chapters of different organizations that help families through difficult times during pregnancy and childbirth. She has provided many newspaper and TV interviews on the topic of stillbirth and the work she does. Hazel has been recognized by former Milwaukee Mayor Tom Barrett, U.S. Senator Tammy Baldwin, and also received a citation of commendation from State Senator LaTanya Johnson. Mattie's Memory was also named a finalist in the Best Nonprofit Human Services Organization in the Best of Milwaukee Awards for 2021. So welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much. So I've been following you guys. Hazel, I've been following you for a while now because we have the unfortunately we've had the same experiences where we've both lost our baby. But you have a 501 nonprofit organization, and you did that. You and AJ did that because of what you experienced back then. So can you share with us that story?
Yeah, basically April of 2012, we discovered we were pregnant with Matthew. Matthew would have been and is my second child, and AJ's first biological child. He is a great dad to my eldest boy, so I have to give him kudos where that's concerned. On July 28th, Matthew was stillborn at 21 weeks. We found out at a routine ultrasound that his heart had stopped beating. And I was admitted into hospital, and he came very silently into the world at 1:30 in the morning on July 28th. The hospital sadly did not have the resources and the training to be able to really deal with the pregnancy loss and a pregnancy loss. And that was through no fault of their own. You know, the nursing staff did the best that they could with the information that they had and the resources they had. We did have one nurse who came rushing in every 5 minutes with sign this, sign this, sign that, sign this, you know, instead of sitting down and saying, okay, this is the paperwork if you want an autopsy. This is the paperwork for funerals. You know, it was just sign here, sign here, sign here. And when you're in that moment, you just sign, you know, unless somebody stops and breaks it down really gently, they just sign. The fact it came to the point where we got discharged, and there was just like, you go home empty-handed. Admittedly, I had a little hat and a tape measure and my ID bracelet, but it was like, this is it. And the resources that were given to us were so outdated. Like, the therapy groups were either 6 months out or they had disbanded already. So we decided, after a lot of poking and prodding from my sister, who was also pregnant at the same time, her name was Kayla, that we would start Mattie's Memory and help provide. It was originally just going to be the hospital where Matthew was born, with memory packs, and try to find information for bereavement support. We then did the NICU at the same hospital because there was the possibility, because considering I was nearly 40 when Matthew was born, they called it a geriatric pregnancy, which, yeah, there was a possibility he may have come early. So we wanted to do something for the NICU. Then other hospitals started hearing about what we were doing and were reaching out saying, can you do it for us? Families started reaching out individually, and it snowballed from there because we didn't want to say no. You know, I felt if I said no, then there was somebody who was going to be feeling lost and alone, and I didn't want that. So it kind of exploded big time from there into what it is now.
How long after did you start the organization? Like after
Matthew was
Matthew?
born in Matthew was born in July, and we donated our first lot of items.
October.
It was end of October.
Somewhere around October,
Yeah.
I know that.
I know that we started Maddie's Memory on October 15th because that seemed like a good day to do it because of the International Wave of Light and International Pregnancy and Infant Loss Remembrance Day. So it was shortly after that that we donated our very first lot of memory bags, and I cried. For one, I had to go back into the labor and delivery area where Matthew was born, which, as you can appreciate, was like, what the heck am I doing this for? The smells and everything. And that was tough. But yeah, it was tough.
So I did have I lost Jolene too, and I lost her back in 2012. Um, and I know that you know my story, so I'll just say it because the audience doesn't know, but that was a horrible experience. I got sent home. I was told there was no heartbeat and they sent me home. And I had her a few hours later. I did go into labor at home and I had her. I had nothing. I had no bracelet, I had no little hat, I had no little gown. I had nothing. And when I think about that, even now to this at this moment, that upsets me, that I one, I got sent home, and that's because of the lack of the education back then.
Yeah.
It's like this taboo thing. You don't speak about that, and people don't know how to handle it, and people just tiptoe around you. They don't know what to say. It's rough. So the fact that you guys have this, and I do follow your stuff, and I've seen your stuff on TikTok as well and Facebook. Um, I love that you guys work together and do this and have these packages and go to the hospitals and donate these. And what people don't understand is that this is a 501 nonprofit. So you don't make money. Yeah, y'all, neither one of y'all get a paycheck. All this comes out of the pocket, out of the money, out of your own pocket if people are not donating. So people that think that they can't help, they can. Even you said you make burial gowns out of
Yep.
wedding dresses.
Wedding dresses, prom dresses, bridesmaids dresses. And you've seen, and you follow me, and if anybody who's watching this goes to my website or Facebook page, we don't just do them white or cream.
Right.
We do them pinks and reds and blues and yellows, every color, because my theory is this: our personalities are all different. If there had been something small enough for Matthew, he would have been buried in Milwaukee Bucks sports gear. And I'm not even joking. As this one will tell you by his laughter. There are families out there who, dress goth and everything and maybe like, well, I wanted my baby in deep red or in blacks. We'll
Yeah.
do that for you. We've got one lady got hold of me and it was funny because she said, don't hate me, but can you do me something in Lakers colors? And I'm like, no, I said, but I'll do them in purple and yellow. She said, that's Lakers colors. I said, don't even mention the Lakers to me. But whatever it is, it's personal to you. That's your
Right.
child. And we will do whatever color you want for your child. If I don't have it, I will get it. And there's been so many times that we've had that where people have reached out and said, look, the hospital has only got pale colors like light pinks and light blues and whites. And that's not who we are. And you've seen us probably as well that I go at times very over the top on the frills and
Hmm.
the fluffs because it's also for the little girls.
Right.
This would have been their last dress,
Yeah.
and why shouldn't they be a Disney princess? Why shouldn't they be a Disney princess as they go on their final journey? So for us being able to get those dresses and do those things just so they're a family for the first and last time get to dress their baby and say goodbye in just what fits them for their personality and their family.
Yeah, I love that. I love that y'all think about that because like my baby, we were so excited that we had a theme and it was like the Monster High theme and it was Frankenstein, so I
I would have,
love the fact that you
yeah,
guys
I would
do
have
it.
worked with you at the time, and I'm sorry that you had to go through your loss too, because no family deserves that. But if I had been doing this at that time and
Mhm.
you had reached out, it would be like, okay, send me the color coordinations that you want. We'll work it out.
Right.
Because it is such a personal thing that this is, as we said, it's the first and the last time that you get to dress your baby.
Right.
So it should be however you want it, to happen.
Right. I love that. So yeah, people do need to go to the site because there are a whole bunch I mean, nobody wish it like I understand, like, you and I don't wish this on any family, right? Because we know what
Nope.
it's like, especially back then when doctors and nurses were not educated enough on how to treat us. We don't want
Right.
anyone to ever experience this. But statistics show that over 500,000 in the US are of baby of is miscarriage. 500,000 a
Yep.
year.
And
So,
21,000 go through stillbirth.
right. That's a huge, sad number.
Yep.
And the fact that people are gonna go through this, it's devastating. But people need to know that that like your profit, your nonprofit, what y'all are doing, you have the stuff like you say, they should have their gown. They should have their little suits and their little hats. There's educational in your material as well, right? Centers where they can
Yep.
go to get help and counseling. And that's something you said that the hospital gave you but was outdated. How important is that to have information that is current for people that are gonna experience this?
For some moms and dads, it's the matter between life and death themselves. Because for me, I was lucky in the sense that the support network that surrounded me was pretty damn strong. Even though my family was in England, I could pick up the phone any minute, anytime and call my mom, and she was there. My sister literally, even though she was concerned about how she should approach me because she was pregnant herself, we were pregnant at the same time. Um, she was there. This man here was like, we were each other's support system. When it was really bad for one of us, the other one was there saying, I got you. Um, So, but there are families out there who don't have that.
Right.
Now, throw on the top, as you can appreciate, you've just given birth, and you've just lost your child. So you're going to be dealing with postpartum depression on top of grief.
Right.
And postpartum depression, as you know, that's a beast in itself, let alone adding on top of that you've lost your child. So if you don't have current information where somebody can at least reach out and find an online support group, and that was what I wanted to do. I didn't want to have like a list of local support groups for every state because I would have been there forever getting that together. But I wanted to make sure I had as many national support groups as possible where if they reached out, for example, to the Miss Foundation would be able to say to them, I can find somebody in your area, but this is our national group for time being.
Hmm.
Um, the same with Share and Star Legacy. So all of those were part of what we had out for people right away. And I started actually afterwards training to work with them. So I work with Miss Foundation. I'm one of their peer support leaders. I work with the Postpartum Support Institute, that is an international one. And I have, what, 3 ladies now?
I think so.
Who I call like weekly, who are also lost moms. I work with Star Legacy and Share, and because you want to get as much information, I need to have my hands on as much information because it's bad enough that we have to bury our children. I don't need families having to bury the baby's parents as well because the support's not there and the grief just overwhelms them to the point where they decide to take their own lives, which we have seen. You and I have been in this
Yeah.
baby loss community sadly for too damn long,
Right.
and we have seen, you know, friends go.
Correct. We have.
And every time another friend goes, it's like, I've got to get more information. I got to get more because it's hard. It's hard seeing your friends leave because of it too.
Yeah. Um. I wanted to ask AJ, because it was something we talked about earlier, that the focus is always on the moms when we lose our children, right? And people tend to forget the fathers. So you guys have been together for a long time, and even after Matthew's passing, you guys didn't just call it quits. Like, there's it's not a huge number, but there is still 16% of divorces happen after the loss of a child. 16% is more than 0%. So
Yeah.
you said you had y'all were each other's support system. Is it a line of communication that y'all have? Like, do you allow AJ, AJ, do you allow yourself to grieve and let Hazel know, hey, this is what's going on? Do you communicate with her and let her know? Because I know men tend to be the ones that want to fix it all and that grieve differently from us. And men tend to be the ones that want to just hold back on those feelings. But do you let yourself like really go through this grieving process?
Yeah, I just grieve in my own way, but I let her like grieve like more than I do because I feel like I have to be the strong one and like, just be around her and like be there for her. And it was just like I just have to be a strong one. But I do grieve, but I just grieve differently.
Right.
Like maybe I like go through or do something else or just do something to make me feel good for my grief.
And
But
y'all
I'm
been
good at picking up his cues now, though. I know his cues when he's having a bad day,
okay.
and I know what helps him. So it'll be like, you haven't played your video games in a while. It's like particular games. It's like, why don't you put them on? And he's like, no, no. And they're like, go ahead. I said, I'm going in the bedroom to read anyway. Oh, okay. So, we've been together 16 years, and it's actually our ninth wedding anniversary this coming Wednesday.
Oh, well,
So
happy
we got married
anniversary.
after, thank you. So we
Thanks.
actually got married after Matthew died, but we didn't want our the love that we have for each other wasn't contingent on being Matthew's parents because it was there before him. But what we had to do was work harder and fight harder to keep it going. And it's not without its ups and downs. There have been some mighty high times and there have been
Hmm.
some really, really bad low
Oh yeah.
times. You know, a lot of people don't know that we were homeless for nearly a year after we lost Matthew.
Wow.
And that's enough to break a family apart in itself there.
Right.
But it's always been keeping our lines of communication open, and doing things together and including each other and giving each other space, because sometimes that's what you need. You don't need that, oh my God, are you okay? Let me,
Right.
sometimes you just need, leave me be. I need time to be. So we do that. That's what helps. Communication is definitely the key.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I love that. I love that. So, Hazel, you also are, for those who don't know what a doula is, or a bereavement doula, can you explain to people what that is?
Okay, a bereavement doula is somebody who solely deals with loss. So basically, when a family is going through a loss, I'm there for them in whatever capacity they want. I've been at a hospital with some, I've been on the phone with others, just being there when a loss occurs and being there line of support. And a lot of times it's not even like helping with a baby being born, it's helping be the first point of call for getting them the information that's needed, acting as a go between them and the doctors or them and the funeral homes, um, telling them what to expect. Because as you and I know, you go through a birth and you're still going through a birth, so you're still having the contractions, the
Right.
delivering the baby, the having to deliver the placenta and stuff, but then there's that whole thing that you go through, whereas you're not given a baby that's crying, and, having to make these parents aware of that. So that is partly what a bereavement doula does, is they're there to be the support system for a family going through loss.
So, you that would be, I feel like everybody has their own thing, their own way, and their own gift of helping. And I commend you for that, because I don't know, I feel like, and that's selfish on my part. I feel like that would be hard for me to do, um, because it's like just reliving over and over and over again. But for others, for you specifically, that's your way of helping you, like helping you in the grieving process as well.
Right. And firstly, I want to say it's not selfish of you to think that way, because how you deal with your grief is how you deal with your grief. And you honor your daughter in so many ways. And I don't know if you remember, but you were the one who supplied Matthew's very first birthday candle. And I had that candle for, oh my gosh, it wasn't even a candle at the end. It was just this lump of wax at the end. And so you honor your child in the way that you honor your child, and you did it beautifully for her. You still
Yeah,
do honor her beautifully. You're letting us tell our story and you're telling her story. So
right.
don't ever think that how you grieve for your child and how you honor your child is selfish because you can't do what others do. You do what's right for you. And you're great. So don't even think that. Get those thoughts out of your head for to begin with. But for me, it was what I needed to do. I needed to make Matthew's death not be such a sad thing. Yeah, I grieve that boy every single day.
Yeah,
Every single day. There's that brief second where you wake up where it doesn't hurt and then it crashes down again.
right.
But I had to do something that said his short little life, his 21 weeks of life was going to mean something. And the thing I love about doing what we do is people don't refer to me in the community as Hazel. It's look, there's Maddie's memory. So his name is said all the time. And as you know, hearing that name and it's just, oh my God, it's like, yeah, that's my baby, that's my son.
Yeah.
And one day up, people will say, well, who was Maddie? It's like, Maddie's my boy, that's my baby. And that to me is, I can't even describe that. That to me is just like, it's phenomenal. And the same with what you did. What I want people to understand in regards to the things that you have done is that when I was looking for a candle for Matthew for his birthday, and when you are lost anybody, most people gravitate to having a candle that they can light.
Mhm.
I wanted something that was special, that came from a baby lost mom. And you had those cake slices,
Oh, yes.
and it was a purple cake slice. I can't remember the smell of it now, but was it peach?
I never had
Might
peach,
have been
but
mango or
I did have what was called butterfly kisses, and that's the scent
it
that
wasn't
I
that one.
used for. No, okay, I don't remember the
It
scent
was
because
a
that was like
fruity one.
a long time
But
ago.
either
Caribbean
way, yeah,
breeze.
it was like, ew, yeah, it was like, oh my gosh. But I remember, I was drawn to that candle. I think it was because it was a slice of cake. And for me, it was like that was awesome because then when I received it, it was packaged so nicely and there was just something about it that was just perfect. It was just perfect. And I think what people don't understand and don't get at times is that I tell everybody about that candle. It's going to be 12 years this July, and everybody knows about that candle. So that's what you helped us with on his first birthday when we didn't know what to do. That was his birthday. And you were a part of that. Your daughter was a part of that. So that for us is something that holds special.
Oh, thank
And
you.
and I need people to understand that you don't have to do these great exorbitant grand gestures to show somebody who's grieving love. As you know, turtles are my thing. I am
Hmm.
surrounded with turtles. Everybody who knows us, there will be times when I will get a message saying, "What's your address? I found a turtle." And to me, I'll get apologies. Well, I'm sorry, it's not much, but it's a turtle. It's like, no, you remembered,
Right.
and that just hits home.
Yeah.
It's remembering.
So for people who don't know what we're talking about, when I lost Jolene, and that was back in 2012. Uh, I was very depressed and very sad. And what I originally wanted to do was, when kids may have a birthday and they blow out the candles and they make a wish. So I wanted to do that, the candles and stuff. And what I wanted to do as a tribute, somehow I lost sight of things and it became more of a business. And that's why slowed down and stopped, right? But in the beginning, my oldest daughter says, "Let me come up with a name. I know that this baby's name, when she found out I was pregnant, she said, this is going to be a Bella. I don't know why she wanted that name, Bella. But my father had previously died about 8 months earlier, and his name was Joe. So I named when I found out that it was going to be a girl because we did DNA testing and everything, right? All the genetic things, right? Um, I said, okay, we picked names, and Jolene, Isabella, and and at the time I looked up the meanings, and it was of belonging to God for God, and so that's what we named her. So the name came up. She came up with the name Candles by Bella's Wish. So I used to do the candles, and I used to do like the baby loss for the baby loss community. I did have like the discounted candles, and that really, people, what people don't understand is you don't make money off of that. You spend more money doing,
Right.
you don't make money, and then the shipping is expensive, but I didn't
Oh,
mind it at all because I knew, okay, this is what people wanted to get was the candles. And there was another baby lost mom that I still keep up with today, and not like last year and this was like been like 10 years already, but she sent me a picture of the little candle jar with the baby loss logo on it that I made for her that she still has and only burns on his birthday.
right.
So that's what for the audience out there listening. That's what Hazel and I were talking. That's what she was talking about, the candle, the slice of pie, because I used to make them in dessert that look like desserts, but that's what it was. It was the candles, and
Yeah.
it was just a way. And I had a poem that went with it, and I don't remember that. My brain doesn't remember last week's stuff. I mean, I didn't remember to hit the record. You know what I'm saying? But it was something I had wrote, but that's yeah. But anyways, that's people really irk my nerves. And I guess it's because they don't understand. But when they say things like, like I experienced this. Well, don't you think it's time to let go? Uh,
Oh,
Is there a time limit on grieving? Is there a time limit, people? Do we tell you how to grieve when you lose your mother or father? No, there's no time limit on that. And I hated that. And I was told that, and I was told, well, you can always have another one. And no, it's not. How do you handle, because I know how I would handle it, and that's not the nice way to do it. So how do you handle that? Because
um,
Soundstripe. Soundstripe.
it really depends on who says it.
okay.
Because there are some people who they say, "Well, haven't you and AJ tried for another baby?" And there's with some people I've said, "Yes, we've tried, we've been unsuccessful." And then there's some people who I've said, "Yeah, and we've had early miscarriages since as well. So how do you feel about asking that question now?" Because it's like it's none of your damn business, basically.
Right.
Um, I've had people say, "Well, shouldn't you be over the death of Matthew now?" And it's like, "Well, tell me which one of your kids you'd be over quickest and let me know how that goes."
What do you want
So
people
it
to
really,
Oh, go ahead.
as I say, it really depends on the person, who says things. Like my mom gets very concerned for my well-being, and she'll say things like, "Do you think it's time that you stop doing this now?" And I say, "Mom, I can't." And she was like, I know it's for Matthew and we'll talk about it, but I know from her it's not coming as a place of, "Oh, I'm done with this already." It's like, I'm concerned about how it's affecting you. So it really depends on the person as to whether I'm polite or very blunt and rude.
So for people who have not gone through this, and they may have a friend that is going through this or will go through this, like what advice would you give them on how to approach that? Because I know, like, and I'm sure you can appreciate that, but for me, nobody knew what to say or do. And sometimes I just wanted somebody to just wash my clothes for me because I just was so
Yeah.
bedridden with depressed and guilt, and laundry was piled up. Like, so what would you tell people? Like, what would you want
I
them
would
to
tell
know?
I would tell people, one, just say, "I'm sorry." Do not throw in anything like God needed another angel. It's God's way. God doesn't make mistakes. Don't bring religion into it unless you know that person extremely, extremely well. And even then, be careful how you approach.
Mhm.
Just say, I'm sorry, I'm here for you. Show up with food. Seriously, I didn't want to cook, but I still had a
That's so
family
true.
to take care of.
That's so true.
Show up with food. Even if it's a frozen pizza, and say,
Yeah.
like, "Get out of the way, I'll put it in the oven for you."
That's
As you
yeah.
said, say to the person, "Okay, where's your washer? I'm gonna throw on a load of laundry." The other thing that I wish somebody had said to me, and he wasn't thinking of it at all, but I wish somebody had said, "Go take a shower. I'll take care of everything. Go jump in a shower. I'm gonna make you something to eat or drink, or I'm gonna tidy up while you're in there. Just go do that." You
Mhm.
need someone to step forward, and you'll get what I mean. Be a mom. You need that mother person to come forward and be there and help. And it doesn't have to be your mom. It can be your friend. It can be anybody. But you need that mom figure to come forward and say, I got this. Go take a bath, take a shower, get yourself sorted out. I'm throwing on a load of laundry. I'm going to make you some food, and then you can go and lay down because I got it.
Right. That's
And if you
good.
can't do that, we're now in a different situation where we have Uber. Get them an Uber Eats gift card
Yeah.
where they don't have to think about it, because tell me that wouldn't have helped us, wouldn't it? If
Yeah, it
someone had
would.
said, here's a gift card so you can order food. If someone said, like, there's meal trains that you can arrange for people where families can come together and say, okay, on Monday we're dropping off something. Tuesday, oh, that person's got it. There's an organization called Lasagna Love where once a month you can have sign up to have lasagna delivered. All those different things, if it had all happened, and comes together, helps that bereaved family. Even if it's just one day a week where somebody comes in and says, I've got dinner for you. Oh my God, that would have been phenomenal.
Yeah. Agreed on that for sure. Um, you've done some other things and you not too long ago, I don't know if it was last week, I kind of saw briefly you were in a meeting of some sort. What was that? Does that
Oh,
have to do with
that was this Tuesday. I was invited to a roundtable that consisted of the lieutenant governor of Wisconsin. One of Joe Biden's aides was there as well, and a couple of guest speakers. And it was to do with Trump's wanting to do an outright abortion ban across Wisconsin. Well, not just across Wisconsin, across the U.S. if he becomes president. And they invited a bunch of birth workers and what they refer to as leaders in the community to come together to discuss our views on what that would entail. And what people don't get is the abortion ban isn't just about the termination of pregnancy, it's also about birth control, it's about the medication used to induce labor, it's about people being able to have a D&C after a miscarriage if they need one. It would ban so many things, and it would put if it had happened when we had lost our children, it would have put your life in danger and my life in danger, because
Mhm.
we wouldn't get the help until we were seriously ill with sepsis.
Right.
So it was one of those things where we came together for that round table. And it was actually just being in the presence of these amazing birth workers was absolutely wonderful. And I have the privilege of actually knowing a few of them personally. And what for me was really wonderful is there was a woman there who, for years, I've butted heads with.
Oh.
Me and her have just butted heads because she feels I shouldn't be occupying any space that
Mm.
BIPOC women are in, because I'm not a BIPOC woman myself. But she understood. She came actually up and gave me a hug at the end of this meeting, and she said, I'm so glad you're here. I never realized what your job entailed until now, and thank you. And things like, you know, getting that is such a helpful thing because I'm not battling just for myself.
Right.
You know, I'm battling for all of us. You know, you've seen what I do when I do my events. I carry
Mhm.
everybody's baby name with us.
Right.
We read out at the Wave of Flight, what was it? 3,000 names.
Around that, yeah.
You
So, you
yeah.
know, yeah, it's a lot.
But you do a lot though too, because isn't there a bridge like every year
Yes,
that
yes,
you're
there is.
responsible for doing or having the city do? That
The
is
Yes.
home
so
brew.
amazing. Can you explain to our viewers and listeners what happens around that time and what the
Okay.
process is for you and AJ to get this done?
Okay, so there is a bridge in Milwaukee called the Home Bridge.
Yeah.
It basically um is a bridge. It's big. It's like it's not even a tiny. This is a big bridge that basically goes over the Milwaukee River before it meets Lake Michigan,
Okay.
Yeah.
and it bridges the north and the south parts of the county. And they have what they call the home bridge lights. And to begin with, you can actually sponsor a light bulb there. We have 4 light bulbs that we sponsor there for all of our babies. And 3 years ago, I'm like, huh, I want to change these lights. And he was like, okay. So, no, it was, I'll go back even further. 4 years ago, I wanted to do it. And I got everybody to email the home bridge and say, you got to change the lights. You got to change the lights. So I get an email from the home bridge saying, well, we appreciate your campaign because we had over 100 emails from baby loss parents wanting to turn the home bridge pink and blue. So, yeah, but we can't do that because we're a nonprofit ourselves. And so we ask that you donate to us for that. So I said, well, how much is it? And they said, well, we normally charge $1,500, but for you, we'll charge 500. And it was like the week before the Wave of Light. And it was like, you know, there's absolutely no way in a week. We'll laugh at that one. There's no way in a week I could raise $500 for this bridge. So the following year, I was like, I'm going to do it this year. I'm going to do it. And I got hold of him and I said, is the $500 still stand for how much, you know, what it is? And the guy was like, yep, if you could get the $500, the bridge is yours. So we campaigned like you wouldn't, oh my gosh. We were getting hold of everybody. We were selling, you know, if it weren't nailed down in our house, I was trying to sell it. You know, if he sat still for too long, it'd be like husband for sale. I was like, okay, I've got to get this. I want this bridge pink and blue. The TV networks picked up on it, and we had a couple of TV networks come out and interview us, and we raised the money. And going down there and seeing this big bridge that if you're in Wisconsin or even northern Illinois, you know what the home bridge is.
Mhm.
And we got down there and half of it's pink and half of it's blue. And the light reflects on the water, so the water's pink and blue as well. And it was just breathtaking. And it's gonna make me cry because it even now it's just so
It's a nice
beautiful.
view.
I've seen the
It's so
pictures.
beautiful.
I've seen
So
it.
then we did it again last year,
Mhm.
and last year the event was it was funny because the first year we still had quite a few people show up, didn't we?
Yeah.
There was a good 10 people who weren't related to us show up. And so then last year it got to like 6:45 and I'm like, nobody's here. I'm like, what the heck? You know, we'd been interviewed by Spectrum News leading up to it. We had our local channel 12, which is our ABC network,
Mhm.
you know, reach out and interview us. They were gonna be there, and I'm like, oh my God, no one's showing up. 6:50, this parade of cars all came in. And then it was like, oh dear God, there's so many of them. And we literally weren't from having, what the first year there being 10 people, not including us, but 10 people, to this year there just being this mass crowd. It was just, oh my, it was amazing. And then having to read out 3,000 names of babies
Mhm.
it took like 25 minutes to do. So
Wow.
this year I'm pre-recording the names this year because being down by the lakefront, I end up with such a bad sore throat from it as well.
Yeah.
So, but we're doing that. And so I've got it was funny because we went around the city and we got a lot of the city buildings, didn't we, to turn pink and blue.
Yeah.
Those that didn't have the option of doing two colors did either pink or blue. We had one church that said, well, we've only got green and yellow. Is that okay? We're like, as long as you're showing colors that night, we'll take whatever colors you've got. And what
Yeah.
is even funnier is that we got a strip club to do their colors too. Which is, it's like, hey, come on.
You're like, whichever whoever can
So
turn
we
these lights on.
So, and it's Silk Strip Club in Milwaukee, which is one of the big strip club, and they
Yeah.
did their colors pink, and I'm like, God bless you guys.
So
So
for
the wave,
people, oh, go ahead. I'm gonna let you
to
go
say,
ahead.
the wave of light ended, and literally November, I'm emailing the bridge again, like, yeah, can I book it for next year?
They're like, lady, we just got it done.
They didn't get back to me until, like, January and then said, "Yeah, you can have the bridge, it'll be the same price." And then they changed out all of their ways of doing it, so I'm not hearing. I'm like, "Oh my god, somebody's gonna get the bridge. Someone's gonna get the bridge." And they'd already told me 5 times, "The bridge is yours, just let us know when you've got the money." And I'm like, "Oh my god, they're not." And then I literally campaigned and managed to get the money raised in 3 days.
So
But
for
we got the bridge
no,
this year too.
did you, oh, for this year, that would tell the viewers and stuff because so pink and blue, and then those are the colors for the wave of light, pregnancy and infant loss awareness.
Yep,
But that happens on October 15th of every year, and the wave of
yep.
light. So those are the colors, blue and pink. So if you haven't seen the bridge, like I listen, people, you got to see the bridge. She already told you the bridge, but it's October 15th. It's the most breathtaking thing ever to see those colors, to know that
Hold
our
on,
babies are not forgotten.
because as luck would have it,
Oh, there it is.
I'll
That's
just
the
pull out
bridge.
the book.
Just show it. That's right. Show everybody.
There you go.
Every year
That's
it
that one.
happens.
I know.
Yes.
Hold on. There it is, right there.
Yeah. Blue and pink. There it is. The whole
And
bridge.
yep.
So Maddie's memory, that this is Maddie's mom and dad. They're responsible for making this a beautiful thing happen every year. Well, for the
Yeah.
past few years. So, and this
Yep.
year you have it too. So there you go. Not only,
Yep.
so people need to understand, you don't just do packages. You
No.
do so much more, and you
Oh my
advocate
god.
and do a lot of other stuff, to bring awareness to this, and to, help people, that are going through this. That's what people don't understand. They don't think that, and I want them to know that it's more than just the caps and the gowns. It's a lot that
It's
you
so
do
much
that
more.
people don't know. Yeah.
I work with the Shine for Autumn Act, and the Shine for Autumn Act is to pass legislation so that all stillbirths are recorded, that there's research into what's causing stillbirth, that there's properly trained autopsy technicians who are going to look for specifics of what causes stillbirth. And we've been campaigning for that. And we're getting close. We're like this far away from getting it. Then there's the Stillbirth Prevention and Maternal Health Act. And that is something that would just change wording in legislative ways that makes it legal, and all hospitals, if there is a stillbirth, have to provide the information to the state and also fill out paperwork so that families can get a certificate that says birth resulted in stillbirth. So your child is registered. Right now, not all states have to. It's an option.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're trying to change. So I've been working really hard in calling. I've done calling our local senators. Our Republican senators.
AJ.
Our Republican senator has every form of communication with me blocked
Oh no.
because he's had enough. It's like, well, sign on and be part of the change, please, sir.
Yes, thank you.
And I also do work with March of Dimes,
Mm-hmm.
our local one. And they to begin with, we reached out to them. Now they're the ones reaching out to us saying, hey, can you help us with our walk? Can you run the bereavement area again? Absolutely. We'll be there. Just tell us the date and the time. We'll be there. We helped them out with an ice hockey game, which was great fun.
Right.
It was we've done that how many years now? 3?
Yeah, like 3-4 years.
3-4
like that.
years.
Yeah. Wow.
Then we do different community baby showers. I'm an advocate and an ambassador for Count the Kicks, which is to help prevent preventable stillbirths, because some stillbirths can be prevented. So my hand is in every pie that I can find to help families, because it's not just about helping a family after a loss. Sorry, it's about trying to prevent those losses, because I've said it so many times. I am so sick and tired of standing over the graves of dead babies. I'm tired of dealing with dead babies. And it's not because I don't want to. I will be there for that mom. I'll be there for that dad. I will be there for that sibling. I'll be there for the aunts and uncles, the grandparents. And I will shout your baby's name to the rooftops until the day I die.
Right.
But if there's a way that we can fund research to find out what happens and why this is happening, you're damn right I'm going to be behind them making the phone calls. If we can work out, okay, counting a baby's fetal movement stops some of the stillbirth. It prevents fetal movement, and logging those details and counting your baby's kicks saves 1/3 of stillbirths. Now, there's 21,000 stillbirths in the US each year, approximately, because that depends on what states. Some states record stillbirth after 24 weeks, some after 20 weeks, some after 26 weeks. So the total is, it's up and down. But if you think 1/3 of those, so about 7,000 babies could be saved each year by counting kicks. And that's 7,000 families who do not have to feel this, excuse my language, this shitty ass feeling we have every single day.
Yeah.
You better believe I'm going to be there shouting it. I don't want families to keep going through what we go through every single day. If there is a way to prevent it, if there is a way to find out, okay, this is what causes it. It could be something as simple as a vaccine. It could be something as simple as, okay, perhaps there's a vitamin deficiency that we don't know about.
Right.
We already know that taking certain prenatals helps stop certain things. Okay, what are we missing? And to me, there's got to be that one little thing that we're missing that's going to turn this around. I'm not saying that every loss is going to be prevented. I'm not saying that every miscarriage is going to be stopped and that every stillbirth is going to end and that every ectopic pregnancy is going to be saved. But hell, if we can save half of them, let's work. We've got to do this. It's got to happen, because this pain, I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy.
Right.
I just don't. And there's so many people who are like you and I who are suffering. You go to Walmart, I can guarantee that a lot of the families in there have experienced loss. And you just don't know, because it's that much of a taboo subject. And we know from when we've been trying to fundraise and stuff, we've reached out to people and said, this is what we're doing, and we get a, yeah, it's a good cause, but no, because it's not a cheerful cause like breast cancer. When the hell has breast cancer been cheerful, you know?
Right.
Or any type
Or
of
any
cancer.
cancer.
Yeah.
But it's like, it just irritates me. It just irritates me. So I have to do what I can. I have to fight, because if I don't fight, who is going to fight? And I know there are people out there fighting as well, but I have to just fight. I have to. I there's no other way. I don't know how not to fight. And I will
Wow.
keep fighting.
Yeah. I truly appreciate everything that you and AJ do to bring awareness to this. It's not just what we see, it's so much more that you guys do. And so hopefully people now have an understanding. Um, is there a message that you want to give out there to people that are not familiar with this?
If you come across a mom, a dad, a sibling, or anyone who's experienced loss, ask them what that baby's name was. I'm going to cry now because the one thing that as a lost parent we live in fear of is that our babies are forgotten.
Yeah.
Say our baby's name.
Right. And always check on the person too, because who knows what they could be going through during that time period. Like like what you were saying earlier, just be there for them and check up on them. And plus, it could be like somebody that could be dealing with like mental health from all that too. So yeah, just check on your friends.
That's so good. I want to thank y'all so much for sharing your experience and everything that you're doing to bring awareness. Um, for the people out there that want to help and donate, because you do have a 501 nonprofit, um, go ahead and give out all, your, it'll be on the promo thing, but I want you to go ahead and tell them what they can do or where they can go and donate and find you and what you got going on.
Okay, you can find us at www.mattiesmemory.org. On there, there's places on there that says how to help, and you can donate via Cash App, PayPal. There's a thing called Buy Me a Coffee, which you can go in and basically donate anything. We work with the dollar store a lot. So if you even say, I've got $2, how does that help you? Oh, trust me, it helps. Um, our Amazon wish list is there as well. We update that as we run out of items, need items. So that's there. You can contact us through there as well about donating wedding gowns, bridesmaids dresses, all that type of thing. We take blankets as well, handmade goods. So just reach out through there. You can see what we do on Facebook. Just search for Maddie's Memory and look for the turtle. It's always a
Yes.
turtle logo. On TikTok, most of our videos get posted on TikTok to show a little bit more of what we do. Look for Maddie's Memory. It's the same logo. It's a little turtle. But just find us there. And we just want to say that there is no donation that's too small. We can work with it. If you can't donate, share what we do. You never know who your reach is going to be. Like our pages, follow our pages, share what we do. If you know someone who's experienced loss, send them our way. We'll be there for them.
And there you go, folks. Thank you so much for sharing the story with us. Thank you, Hazel and AJ. Welcome to the Unhinged, a Mary Blige show. Until the next conversation. Thank
Thank
you.
Thank
you.
you.
The unhinged where nothing is hidden. We talking so get in.
Listen.
The unhinged where nothing is hidden. We talking so get in.
Listen.
Mary, blah, blah.
Show.
Mary, blah, blah.
Show.
The unhinged where nothing is hidden. We talking so get in.
Listen, listen, listen.
The unhinged where nothing is hidden. We talking so get in.
Listen, listen, listen.
Mary, Mary, blah, blah.
Show, show, show.
Mary, Mary, blah, blah.
Show, show, show.
Welcome